Welcome, restless souls, to Carmen's Crypt. I'm Carmen Carrion, keeper of forgotten tales and curator of nightmares. You've wandered into my domain, where each week I unearth a fresh horror from the depths of human imagination. In these darkened halls, stories wait like hungry shadows. Each tale we've collected whispers of terrors both ancient and new. From crumbling mansions where something skitters behind the walls, to that strange text message you received at 3 a.m. from a number that shouldn't exist. So gather close. The candles are lit, the shadows grow long, and the witching hour is upon us. Are you prepared to face what lurks in the darkest recesses of Carmen's Crypt? Lock your doors, still your nerves, and remember, here, every fear comes alive. This is Carmen's Crypt. Your sanctuary of scares awaits. The hammer came down with devastating precision. Thelma Jenkins stared at her husband's body, sprawled across their pristine living room floor, blood pooling on the cream-colored carpet she'd insisted on having installed just 3 months ago. It would be ruined now, but that was the least of her concerns. "That's for emptying our savings account, Charles," she muttered, adjusting her grip on the hammer. Its wooden handle was slick with blood and sweat. "And for whatever 20-something trollop you were planning to run away with tomorrow." Outside, rain pelted against the windows of their isolated country home. Thunder rumbled in the distance. A perfect spring storm on Easter weekend. Nature's dramatic backdrop to her crime of passion. Thelma checked her watch. 9:17 p.m. on the Saturday before Easter. She glanced toward the staircase. Sean was asleep upstairs, her 4-year-old son blissfully dreaming of the Easter Bunny's impending visit. She'd have to be quiet. In the morning, she would tell him that Daddy had to go away on an emergency business trip. Later, she would craft a more permanent explanation. Thelma pulled the plastic tarp from behind the sofa where she'd hidden it earlier. Her heart raced as she rolled Charles's body onto it, wincing at the wet sounds his cooling flesh made against the plastic. The metallic scent of blood filled her nostrils, making her gag slightly. She hadn't expected there to be so much of it. The radio in the kitchen had been playing quietly all evening, background noise to drown out any sounds Charles might have made. Now the music was interrupted by a news bulletin. We interrupt this program with an important announcement. Police are searching for escaped convict Jeremiah Franklin, who fled from county lockup during tonight's power outage. Franklin, awaiting trial for the murders of 6 people in a series of brutal home invasions, is described as extremely dangerous. In a disturbing development, police have discovered the body of James Wilson, who portrayed the Easter Bunny at Lakewood Mall, in the mall parking lot. His costume has been stolen. Authorities advise residents in Lakewood County to remain indoors with doors and windows locked. Franklin was last seen heading east on County Road 16. Again, residents should exercise extreme caution. Thelma froze, hammer still in hand. The county jail was less than 15 miles away. She hurried to the front window and peered through the curtains at the rain-slicked driveway and the dark woods beyond. Nothing but sheets of rain illuminated occasionally by flashes of lightning. She needed to focus. First, secure the house. Then, deal with Charles. Thelma moved quickly through the 2-story home, checking locks on doors and windows. The back door in the kitchen, secured. The French doors leading to the patio, locked. The windows in the living room, dining room, and den, all latched. Upstairs, she peeked into Sean's room, relief washing over her at the sight of his small form under the dinosaur pattern covers, rhythmic breathing indicating deep sleep. She checked his window, already locked, then moved to secure the rest of the upstairs. Returning downstairs, she caught a glimpse of herself in the hallway mirror and barely recognized the wild-eyed woman staring back. Blood spattered her blue sweater and beige slacks. Her blonde hair had come loose from its neat bun. She looked every bit the murderer she was. Back in the living room, she knelt beside Charles' body and began meticulously rolling it in the tarp. The cleanup would have to be thorough. She'd need to scrub the blood from the carpet, dispose of her clothes, and hide the hammer somewhere no one would think to look, perhaps buried in the garden among her spring tulips. A noise from outside made her pause, a rustling, like something moving through the bushes along the side of the house. Thelma held her breath, listening intently. Just the wind and rain, surely. Still, she moved to the window again and scanned the darkness. A flash of lightning illuminated the yard, and Thelma's heart nearly stopped. There, at the edge of the woods, stood a figure, tall and hulking, with long, upright ears protruding from its head. Even from this distance, and even in the darkness, there was no mistaking what it was. Someone in a bunny costume. Not the cute, fluffy kind from shopping mall Easter photo opportunities, which it was. But now, knowing who wore it, something far more sinister. The figure was perfectly still, facing the house, watching. Thelma dropped the curtain and stumbled backward, her mind racing. It had to be him, the escaped killer, Jeremiah Franklin. She rushed to the phone in the kitchen, hands trembling as she dialed 911. The line was dead. Of course it was. The storm must have knocked out the phone lines, just as it had the jail. She grabbed her cell phone from her purse and found no signal bars, another consequence of the remote location during severe weather. But what was she thinking anyway? She couldn't call for help. Charles's body was still laying in the living room floor, wrapped in a tarp. Thelma was on her own. She returned to the living room window and peeked through the curtains again. The bunny figure was gone. Relief washed over her, followed immediately by a wave of paranoia. Where had he gone? Was he circling the house, looking for a way in? Her eyes fell on Charles's gun cabinet in the den. He kept a shotgun for hunting and a handgun for protection, he had always said. The cabinet key was on his key ring, which should be. Thelma patted Charles's pockets frantically, finally locating the keys in his jacket. Her hands shook so badly she could barely separate the small cabinet key from the others. She crept toward the den, wincing at every creak of the floorboards beneath her feet. The gun cabinet stood against the far wall, its polished wood gleaming in the dim light. She slid the key into the lock and turned it carefully, holding her breath as the door swung open with a soft squeak. To her relief, both guns were there. She grabbed the handgun, checking that it was loaded, then took the shotgun as well, along with a box of shells. A soft thud from upstairs made her freeze. Sean. Thelma raced upstairs, gun in hand, heart pounding. She flung open the door to Sean's bedroom. The bed was empty, dinosaur covers thrown back. "Sean?" she called in a harsh whisper. "Sean, where are you?" A giggle from downstairs turned her blood to ice. Thelma descended the stairs slowly, gun raised, every sense on high alert. The giggle had come from the direction of the kitchen. "Sean?" she called again. "Honey, come here right now." "Mommy!" Sean's excited voice rang out from the kitchen. "The Easter Bunny came early. He's here." Thelma broke into a run, bursting into the kitchen to find her son, clad in dinosaur pajamas, standing in front of the open back door. Rain blew in, soaking the floor, and there, stooping to Sean's level, was the Easter Bunny, its costume now bedraggled from the rain, but undeniably the mall's Easter Bunny outfit, with its oversized head and floppy ears. "Get away from him!" Thelma screamed, raising the gun. Sean turned, his face lit with joy. "Mommy, look! Now we can have Easter eggs tonight." The bunny's head tilted, and through the costume's mesh mouth, Thelma could see a terrifying smile. The man inside the costume straightened to his full height, towering over Sean. "What a beautiful boy," came the muffled voice from inside the bunny head. "So trusting, so innocent." "Sean, come here," Thelma commanded, keeping the gun trained on the bunny. "Right now." Sean's smile faltered, confusion clouding his features as he looked between his mother, wild-eyed and holding a gun, and the Easter bunny of his dreams. "But, Mommy..." "Now, Sean." The bunny's gloved hand came to rest on Sean's shoulder. "Your mommy seems upset, little one. Is she always like this? So aggressive?" "Let go of my son." Thelma's voice was deadly quiet. "Or what?" the bunny asked, his voice carrying an edge of amusement. "You'll shoot?" "Might hit the boy by accident. Besides, he and I were just getting acquainted. I was telling him how I saw everything through the window earlier. Wasn't I, Sean?" Sean nodded, still confused. "He said he saw Daddy fall down. He said you were cleaning up a mess." Thelma's stomach twisted. Had Sean seen something too? Or was the killer just taunting her? "Sean, I need you to walk over here to me very slowly," Thelma said, trying to keep her voice steady. "The Easter bunny needs to leave now." "But he brought presents," Sean protested. "Did I?" The bunny tilted his oversized head again. "Oh yes, I brought something special for your mommy." His hand moved from Sean's shoulder, disappearing behind his back. When it reappeared, it held a large hunting knife, its blade gleaming in the kitchen light. "Run, Sean!" Thelma screamed, firing the gun. The shot went wild as Sean darted past her, screaming. The bunny lurched forward, surprisingly fast despite the cumbersome costume. Thelma fired again, this time catching him in the shoulder. He staggered back but didn't fall. "You bitch," he growled, the cheerful bunny face at odds with the murderous voice. "I was going to make it quick for the boy. Now I'll make sure he watches what I do to you." Thelma turned and ran, following Sean's path through the house. "Sean, hide!" she shouted. "Don't come out until I call you." She could hear the bunny's footsteps behind her, surprisingly quiet for someone in such an outfit. He was experienced at this, a hunter accustomed to stalking prey. The power chose that moment to fail completely, plunging the house into darkness. Lightning flashed, providing momentary illumination in the living room, and Charles' body still partially wrapped in the tarp. Thelma ducked behind the sofa, listening for the bunny's approach. She could hear Sean whimpering somewhere nearby, under the dining room table perhaps. She needed to draw the killer away from him. "I know what you're thinking." The bunny's voice came from the doorway. "You're wondering if you can blame your husband's death on me. It might work." The hammer was a nice touch, very personal. "I usually prefer knives, but to each their own." Another flash of lightning revealed him standing in the living room entrance, knife in one hand, the other pressed against his wounded shoulder. "You're bleeding," Thelma said, rising from behind the sofa, gun aimed directly at the bunny's head. "That costume must be getting uncomfortable." "It has its advantages," he replied, taking a step forward. "The kids love it. They let me right in, like your son did." "Stay back," Thelma warned, her finger tightening on the trigger. "Or what? You'll shoot me? Like you killed your husband?" What's one more body, right? The bunny's voice had taken on an almost conversational tone. We're not so different, you and I. Both killers, both opportunists. I'm nothing like you. Thelma spat. No? Then why is your husband dead on the floor? The bunny took another step forward. The only difference between us is honesty. I admit what I am. I embrace it. Thelma fired, the bullet tearing through the bunny's chest. He staggered, but remained standing. I missed the vital organs, he wheezed, still advancing. Amateur. Thelma fired again and again. The bunny lurched forward with each impact, but kept coming, knife raised. The gun clicked, empty. Panicking, Thelma threw the gun at him and backed away, searching frantically for a weapon. Her hand closed around the hammer, still wet with Charles's blood. Fitting, the bunny observed, now just feet away. The same tool for both of us. He lunged. Thelma swung the hammer with all her might, connecting with the side of the bunny head. The impact knocked the costume head askew, partially revealing the face beneath. A gaunt man with wild eyes and a smile that sent chills down Thelma's spine. They grappled, falling to the floor beside Charles's body. The killer was stronger, but weakened by his gunshot wounds. He brought the knife down, slicing into Thelma's arm. She screamed, smashing the hammer against his temple. His grip on the knife faltered. Thelma hit him again and again, the hammer making a sickening sound against his skull. The bunny head came off completely, rolling across the floor with its fixed grin now spattered with blood. Finally, the killer went limp. Thelma continued striking him until she was certain he wouldn't get up again. Silence fell, broken only by Thelma's ragged breathing and the distant rumble of thunder. "Sean?" she called out weakly. "It's safe now. You can come out." No response. "Sean? Honey?" Thelma dragged herself to her feet, clutching her bleeding arm. She staggered to the dining room. "Sean?" A small sound from the pantry caught her attention. She opened the door to find her son curled into a ball, eyes wide with terror. "It's okay now," she soothed, reaching for him. "The bad bunny is gone. He can't hurt us anymore." Sean shrank from her touch. "You hurt Daddy," he whispered. "I saw you." Thelma froze. "No, honey. The bad man hurt Daddy. That's why I had to stop him." Sean shook his head stubbornly. "I saw you. Before the bunny came. You hit Daddy with the hammer." Thelma's mind raced. "You were dreaming, sweetheart. It was a bad dream." "No." Sean's voice was surprisingly firm. "I was thirsty. I came downstairs. I saw you." Thelma's heart sank. This complicated things enormously, but she could handle it. Sean was only 4. Children's memories were malleable. With time, he would believe whatever version of events she reinforced. "Listen to me, Sean," she said urgently. "A very bad man came into our house. He hurt Daddy, and he tried to hurt us, but I stopped him. That's what happened. Do you understand?" Sean stared at her, his young face unreadable. "The police will come soon," Thelma continued, "and you must tell them that the Easter Bunny hurt Daddy. It's very important." "But that's a lie," Sean said softly. "It's to protect us." Thelma insisted. "Sometimes grown-ups have to do things that seem wrong to keep their family safe. I love you, Sean. I did this for us." Eventually, Sean nodded, though his eyes remained doubtful. Thelma hugged him, relief flooding through her. "Good boy. Now stay here while I clean up a bit. then we'll call for help. When the storm finally cleared and phone service was restored, Thelma called the police. They arrived to find a traumatized woman and her son, 2 dead men, and a clear case of self-defense against a notorious killer who had murdered her husband before she managed to stop him. The investigation was thorough, but ultimately supported Thelma's account. Sean, as instructed, said nothing to contradict his mother's story. If the detectives found the boy's withdrawn demeanor concerning, they attributed it to the trauma of that terrible night. Thelma and Sean moved away 6 months later, using Charles's life insurance to start fresh in another state. As the years passed, Thelma convinced herself that Sean had forgotten that night, or at least had accepted her version of events. He grew into a quiet, studious teenager, excelling in science and showing a particular interest in anatomy and physiology. On the 10th Easter after that fateful night, Thelma woke up to find a chocolate bunny on her nightstand, its head bitten off. A chill ran down her spine as she picked up the small card beside it. "I remember everything. Happy Easter, Mother." That night, as Thelma slept, her bedroom door opened silently. Sean stood in the doorway, now 14, watching his mother's sleeping form. In his hand, he held a hammer, much like the one she had used a decade ago. He had kept the bunny head, too, hidden in the back of his closet all these years, a talisman of the night that had shaped him. He approached the bed slowly, remembering his mother's words from long ago. Sometimes grown-ups have to do things that seem wrong to keep their family safe. Sean raised the hammer, his young face eerily calm in the moonlight. The Easter bunny had returned, and this time there would be no resurrection. And so, dear listeners, we emerge from another dark corner of Carmen's crypt. But remember, the horrors you've heard tonight are merely echoes of the terrors that await in the shadows of your own mind. If you enjoyed your stay in the crypt, why not invite a friend to join us next week? After all, fear is best when shared. Leave a review if you dare, or share your own tales of terror on my social media. Who knows, your nightmares might just become my next story. Until next time, keep checking under your bed. And remember, in Carmen's crypt, every fear comes alive, and no one is truly safe. Sweet dreams, if you can still sleep at all.